stability never felt better. The first 5 miles, you're just getting warmed up. From downtown to uptown, you'll take the scenic route. Tired legs? You'll feel fresh. From first steps to final strides. Steep hills, super steep hills. Long runs, even longer runs. Whatever comes, you can run through it. With stability, cushioning, and more comfort than ever in every step. Because nothing feels better than the adaptive stability and premium comfort of the Gel Kayano 30 shoe.
All right, what is up, YouTube? CITIUS Mag live at the World Championships. Day 3 just wrapped up. We rushed over from the stadium on some scooters just because we had to get back to talk about things. We went on Instagram Live, rushing over here. My heart rate hasn't come down. My phone is buzzing. I'm sweating. Chris Chavez here with Kyle Merber and Jasmine Todd, and we are ready to talk about all the action. But first, our coverage all throughout the week has been presented by A6.
Yes!
Shout out to A6 for supporting all of our coverage and, honestly, helping facilitate, making it easy for us to get from here to there. They picked this hotel and it's perfect. We have been kitted out and we're wearing the custom CITIUS Mag Trek Club shirts. We had a great morning run this morning. So it's been a great experience with A6 and I'm ready to run so fast in tomorrow's Media 800 because of what we just witnessed.
Tonight, the fireworks, instead of the fireworks, we have USA chants echoing through the streets of Budapest.
USA!
It is a beautiful thing. In some places, they pop champagne for these types of occasions. I happen to smuggle in 6 Ollipops into my carry-on bag, and so we decided, you know what? This is a great occasion. What is that occasion? If you made it this far into the podcast without wondering what we're talking about.
Why are you here?
Sha'Carri Richardson is the fastest woman in the world. 10:65 world championship record, gold medal. That's the only result we saw. We were like, that's it. We got to go. It was amazing. I have never jumped that high in my life. It was just incredible. Shericka Jackson gets the silver. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, even with her short season, ends up with a bronze medal. But man,
dude, we ran out of the stadium chanting USA and the crowd was silent, which is why we love it so much. I think US fans right now are the top of the world. Like, we are so excited.
They should be so. I almost got hit by a car running over here, so it's fine. I was like, I don't know what's going to be the news, Sha'Carri or me getting hit by a car.
Have bad news of what it would have been.
But, I mean, seriously, she ran that race so beautiful. Watching her semifinal, I was terrified. But there was no way she wasn't going to make it through. The girl had a horrendous start and still ran a 10.8. That in itself should have said a lot.
That reaction time was 0.222.
Holy, what?
That's like...
It looked like it.
There was glue stuck in the blocks at that point.
When I tell you, she really did not get up there until about the last maybe 15 meters, 20 meters in. And then I was like, okay, you know what? She's in that top 3. She's going to be on the bubble. But when I saw the time immediately, it was, no, she's going to make it in because there's no one's going to run that fast.
She proved in the semis that the top end speed was there today, right?
She definitely proved that. And you know what? I think it was a little reverse psychology. I knew that she was going to run well coming out of lane 8. And I told Jasmine Fair, not me, not myself, but other Jasmine. There's 2 Jasmines here. I told her, I think this is probably the best thing for her to not be in the middle, to not feel all that pressure, to be out in lane 8, reset, rethink, and not have to focus on who's to the left and right of her. Just focus on her lane.
The only thing I was concerned by is that she's the first one they brought out onto the track and just standing behind her blocks. Like, she was just deadpan, staring out ahead. And I was just wondering, it's like, in that moment, she's locked in, but it takes a while to announce everyone. They announce the accolades and the music is blaring and people are walking over, so they're taking their time, and you got to go through that for 8 more people. And so I was like, man, that's a long time to just be standing still. But whatever happened after that, I mean, she was just from the moment the gun went off, noticed it was a good start, and then I was like, that's all we need. I think that's all we need.
I don't think that was that long for her to sit there, though.
No.
I think that because she was so in the zone, literally watching her walk out, I was like, hey, bro, no, she's here to go. She's in that outside lane. She doesn't have to worry about anybody else. Focus on herself. She looked so focused, and she knew that she messed up.
Chris, you were saying lane 8. It was actually lane 9.
Lane 9, yeah, I'm sorry.
They had who had the same time? Svoboda and
Dina
Smith had the same time. Svoboda's lawyer, Mac was saying it's Sebco, was able to pull some strings, get her into the final. She ended up 6th, so, deserved her spot, earned it. And then, so Sha'Carri from lane 9, Van Nierkerk-esque.
You knew literally 20 meters, not even 20 meters in, I'm like, yo, she had a start. The girl, it's hers. It's hers. Honestly, y'all know I love me some Team Jamaica, so I was rooting for them, but also at the end of the day, watching her run out, there's no way anyone can come back and catch her with that because her top end speed is so immaculate.
How many flights went directly from Kingston to Budapest to get all those fans here?
I mean, people,
they came in
I saw it on Twitter, they were feeling great after the first and second round, and some people were ready to hand Shericka. Shericka had a really impressive semifinal, and so they were ready to really crown her as the world champion. But something in me said, this ain't over. Our American hopes for a gold medal are still alive. And I'm so proud to be an American right now.
The thing that it was such a short turnaround between the semis and the finals, I didn't even feel like I had recovered yet. And
me either.
I think the bad semifinal start, Sha'Carri had to work really hard. She had to touch top end speed probably for a little longer than she would have liked. And so I was nervous with that short turnaround because it was maybe it's just that Q room is so comfortable, throw on some Normatec boots, kick back, relax, and she was able to come. But it in the semis, she had to show a little bit more of her cards and that top end speed, and it was just a matter of will the start be there? And to your sentiment, the second I saw the start, I was feeling
immediately
good.
It was the Sha'Carri show. That girl did the damn thing.
We went into the stands to watch with the fans, and that's when you remove the credential, and we're like, all right, we're being fans for this one. And I can't remember if there's ever been a 100-meter race aside from maybe last year when you and I were jumping for joy at the U.S. men's 100 sweep, but that was it came in waves when the results were popping up. This one with 5 meters to go, I was chanting yes, yes, and then the results popped up, and it was something in me. I was like, am I sure? But I was it was fairly clear cut, and then Sha'Carri's shock on her face was just I've only seen the race once, and that was in the stadium. I'm geo-blocked from being able to watch on NBC Olympics on Twitter, so I can't really watch that replay, but I just can't wait to go back and rewatch that over and over again because I'm just so amped up right now.
1065 is quicker than I thought that we were going to see today.
That is blazing. And I want to say the other reason why I'm proud to be an American right now, this is the first time in how many years that we've had more than one person in the final.
Yeah, all 3 made it, which was great. I mean,
last year we had 2, but we didn't have 3.
No.
It's been a while since we've had 3 people make it into the final, and for some years we've only had one person make it into a final. So it's nice to see the U.S. coming back in the sprints.
Can we go big picture for a second?
Yes, because
Are you ready?
I want to discuss. Yesterday, we had this whole discussion about why Noah Lyles winning is good for the sport, and I think we can have that same exact discussion about Sha'Carri Richardson. And so, coming into the season, yeah, she's got her haters and her doubters, and the season starts off with a win dated 10-5, and people were like, yeah, it was win dated, but then she goes out and she starts winning and proving herself and gets the U.S. title again, and all of these things have culminated. She's been preaching I'm not back, I'm better. And today, what is better? How do you define better? And how can you put numbers behind it? It's 1065. Better means best in the world.
Yeah, it's it pays to hype up like the season of Noah and Sha'Carri and have them deliver, right? Like all eyes have been on them all year long. And when you're just thinking like, what if I was Vince McMahon, what would I do? And of course, you know, like, look, some people did not want Sha'Carri to win. Like that's such a
there was a couple
They
people
did
around me who
not.
said no.
To some, she's a villain.
What?
To us, she's a hero right now because like my stance has always been like, what's the best thing for the sport? And I've always truly thought that Sha'Carri, as just such an entertaining athlete, her running well is just objectively good for the sport. It's obviously good for the U.S. We have a lot of gold medals already for 3 days. Yeah. But it's the storyline and those people who doubted her, you know, let alone a couple years ago, doubted her at the beginning of the spring this season. You just have to eat your words, right?
Yeah, I mean, with all these gold medals, this might be Tracktown USA. So I think like one of the best things of that entire race was just sort of like I had my eyes on Sha'Carri because that was my dog in the fight. But even we're hearing from our photographers, shout out Justin Britton and Johnny Zhang, who've been on fire this entire championships, that it's like, we don't know what lane to focus on. It's like, you don't want to miss the shot of the winner crossing the finish line, and you can only, I guess, move the camera so much in that split second. And really, like, I feel like everyone had their person that they were rooting for. Again, to the point of like, you know, we see the cameras, what the, you know, Netflix is following around. Again, like, this is going to be incredibly great played out as a drama.
Sha'Carri's not in the Netflix thing.
I don't know. Like, they haven't
That's
released like
insane.
they haven't released the full lineup of athletes. We do know that Talu is one of the sprinters. The press release said
Fourth.
Oh my gosh.
heartbreaking.
That is such a tough
All right,
place.
if I'm Netflix, what do you think? Season 2 is going to be even better,
Redemption.
right?
Like,
Exactly.
let's follow her going into the
I
Olympic year.
really thought she was meddling this time.
What did you say?
I
If
said
you had
if
to
I-
put
if I-
any amount of money on.
She was so consistent.
You lost your money.
I lost it.
Give it to me.
Isn't that the great thing about track and field is you think that you know what's going to happen and it never happens that way.
I continue to think that it's like, you know, when all these odds keep coming out, it's like the people who lose the most money in track are the people most involved in track who think they know the sport.
Because we're putting up the most money.
Yeah. Well, but looking at this, like, all right, so we'll give Shericka Jackson her flowers. 1072, like, if you would have told me at the start of the day, does 1072 win the gold medal? I think, like, yes. I didn't really think that someone would go 1065, but yeah, I mean, Shericka Jackson, I think what this does too is just we're going to see something really special in the 200.
We touched on this the other day. Like, part of the 2023 is the roadmap to 2024,
Yes.
obviously. And every brand involved around the Olympics, every major news outlet wants someone to get behind, tell the story, go to the hometown, visit, and like, you just want that to be Sha'Carri because it would be the most entertaining, most fun thing to watch. It would engage the biggest audience. And now it just like bump and sets her up for
It's
an
hard to
incredible
deny her those endorsements now. Like, how can you not give her those? She just got a world title.
Is there a number that you would set, like, the estimate on, like, how much she just gained from this financially?
No one has ever offered me numbers anywhere close to what I assume she is getting, but I mean,
No, I'm going to throw 10 million, like, in just endorsements. I would say maybe more.
I have no idea.
She's the fastest woman in the world going into the Olympic year with the Coca-Cola deals coming, the Visa deals coming, like all that stuff.
play hard to get.
Yeah.
I would play very
McDonald's
hard
comes
to get.
knocking. I'm a Burger King girl.
but the money will turn me into McDonald's.
Yeah.
Visa comes coming. Say, I know Kyle Merber. I'm going to Amex. So, I mean, like, yeah, this was just kind of, Sha'Carri has always been outside of the track bubble. I mean, 2021 did that with just the controversy around the suspension that transcended the track world. You know, she's got had tweets from Michelle Obama and like all these other celebrities.
Come back. I want everyone to come back now. Retweet
back.
what you said in 2021.
Go ahead and circle back.
Honestly, like
good and bad.
We're not sitting on Twitter right now, but like I'd love to see what the chatter is like all about right now, because like I feel like there's people right now. It's the middle of the afternoon in America. They're probably scrolling on
America's
X,
turning up right now,
and they're like they'll see something
On
and
a
like
Monday.
wait,
On a
Sha'Carri
Monday.
Richardson won the world championships, and it's like, what's this all about? And like hopefully it incentivizes people to learn more about what it took to get to this point, and also like what it means for 2024.
I mean, honestly, as much as we like to talk about our haters, that girl has a lot of supporters that do defend her. So for all those haters, there's a supporter, and I know that they're going absolutely crazy right now. And they're probably firing back at anybody talking mess at her. She don't even got to say anything. They're handling it for her.
There's one Sha'Carri Richardson. There's multiple, I know, but there's one in particular fan account on Instagram that just like tags us in like everything. I want to know what that person is doing right now. Like if they're okay.
A lot of tagging.
lot of tagging. They just got their content worth for like the rest of the year from this event. So, I mean, it's I can't even put to words really. Just kind of. Even though we just spoke for a while, but just like what this means, I guess, for the good of the sport in the women's 100.
Is it fair to say that this was the most anticipated race in the championships?
Yeah,
oh, absolutely.
I was nervous beforehand. I'm not even in the race.
Absolutely. I looked at Jasmine. I said, I can't believe the women's 100 finals already here. Like, it's so soon. It came so fast, and I wasn't prepped for it, and I was nervous, and I'm happy that it's done. And I'm happy with the results.
So glad there was no like false starts controversy. And
oh
it was,
my gosh!
The
thank
thing
goodness.
that I took note of, I was like, all right, somehow in the last couple of days, everyone who you thought would be in the final ended up in the final. Like, what are the odds that none of the heavy favorites would have got knocked out in any way? Everyone made it through the rounds healthy without getting disqualified. Like, There's no doubts or questions at this point that Sha'Carri is the fastest woman in the world this year.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
No doubt about it. And honestly, like, she's raced enough that I mean, she's going to have the Diamond League final coming up next month at Pre. That I'm curious to see like what she potentially does there. This is what obviously like she was peaking for, but like you have to wonder, like we had Pre after the Olympics as well, like, and the Jamaicans they swept that top.
They ran fast too,
and they ran crazy fast. Like, is this an instance where potentially Sha'Carri could run faster, or do the Jamaicans want to enact revenge one more time?
You know it's going to be good now. The 4x100.
Woo!
That's right. Yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, you can't leave off the fastest woman in the world from the 4x1.
Oh,
there's no way you leave her off.
And she's obviously never been at a World Championships in a relay. So, like, is there any sort of trepidation onto like, well, what can she do? And also, like, I guess Jasmine, as a World Championships silver medalist in the event, where does she fit best?
Second leg.
Like,
she has experience on relays.
They do Texas relays at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, she's got plenty of experience on the relays, so there's no doubts or fears for me there. And I mean, why wouldn't you put someone who is the fastest woman in the world in the 100, who is also going to be running the 200?
Yeah.
So she's got the speed, she's got the endurance. So I think that they can even push her leg out to be a little bit longer instead of having it be 100 meters. They could push it out to 110, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, explain like what that does for like the next leg.
So for the next leg, it'll ultimately
makes it shorter.
make it shorter, but you kind of want that when you have someone that's so strong. Like, we know that she can get out there and run super fast at that second leg. She's going to take it earlier from the person running first leg, hopefully, and then also shorten that third leg, depending on who they have on those places. For me, I'd probably put Brittany Brown over on third leg, and I'd probably have Tamari bringing it home. I'm not sure who I'd have first leg right now, but they've got plenty of options.
So speaking of 110 meters, and doubters, Apparently, someone is doubting Grant Holloway.
That was the most interesting.
Who did that?
Like comment of the whole thing of like the in stadium. I don't really like hear too much of it because we're down like in the mix zone.
What was it exactly?
They're just like, this one was like for the people who doubted me this year. You know who you are, and it's like I'm like sitting back. I'm like, who? Like
who did that?
Who
would ever
Grant?
doubt Grant?
I don't think anyone has doubted Grant Holloway. You know, we put the ask out already. We're hoping to get Grant back on CITIUS Mag Live. And you know we'll have
get to the bottom.
We're gonna be looking under these beds, under the chairs, like where are these people doubting Grant Holloway? Because I mean, from the first round to the second round, like he's
consistent.
Phenomenal. It's in the final it runs 12.96.
That should be in quotes.
Literally,
in this lower
silences the doubters that weren't there because
put doubters in quotes. I don't know who they are.
I really want to know where they are because how does anyone doubt Grant Holloway? That man looked good through all rounds as he does for the past 3 championships now.
I love the mindset of elite athletes just making up chips to put on their shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, Grant, 12.96 from step 1. He was the
first over the hurdle.
It's always over.
Very first one over the hurdle.
He looked so smooth through the middle, and it was so obvious.
It was beautiful.
Came off 10 so well.
And this played out not how I wanted it. I wanted it to be a U.S. sweep, but the one person who I said would break them up, shout out to Parchment, because, you know, he's still that guy.
Parchment, second place, 13.07, and, like, he was closing hard. I'll give him that. Again, sort of when you think of, like, how do you make this appealing to, like, just mass audience tuning in for the first time at the Paris Olympics, what you tell them is like, oh, okay, so the guy who's the reigning Olympic champion just last year got beat by the guy who ended up silver and at the World Championships, and that makes for just such a compelling story that when we think about Grant Holloway's legacy, 3-time world champion now.
That's outdoors only. Yeah. I mean,
we've 3 times is nuts.
Paris is what's missing. And like I think that's what I don't know, like how much further he can go into like being catapulted into like being one of the sport's biggest stars. He's very like he handles the media well. He does a lot of stuff off the track as well that is positive for the community and the sport. That like I don't know how much else. It's just a gold medal I think that's missing in Paris.
I have an idea. We should doubt him. Like wink a little when like
we're gonna doubt you now.
Yeah, Grant, you definitely can't.
You're not gonna get a gold medal at the Olympic Games.
Let's sit back and rock.
Well, we're gonna sit back and watch what you do.
2023's hottest Halloween costume: Grant Holloway doubters.
Don't show up to the party.
That's all I
want. Quick shout out, Daniel Roberts. Like.
Come on, you know, Caitlin, if she was here, she'd be yelling right now, talking about BBN. Come on, let's go, Daniel. Like, she would be so hyped right now. She'd be so proud. She'd probably be speaking life into you. I don't know exactly what words would come out of her mouth, but she knew that you were going to come out with a medal. So shout out to Daniel. I'm so proud of him. So deserved. I also want to do like a little slight shout out to Freddie Crittendale. Like, a little slight shout out to him because this is his first outdoor world championships and he's coming out with the 4th place, which is heart-wrenching, but the big picture is this is your first outdoor world championships and you came in 4th place. So you only go up from here.
It's always a testament to just how good the U.S. team is when someone finally makes that first team and they come out and run that well.
Like, yeah. He was looking great.
Because it honestly makes you think it's like, oh, what about the guy who finished 4th at USA? It's like, where would he have finished in all of this? Like, that just shows our depth.
Then Freddie last year doesn't make the team, goes down to NACAC and runs 12.9, 13.0. What was it? Something like ridiculously fast.
Like,
and I feel like ever since not making that team last year, he's been on a whole new level now.
That man said, hey, I'm going to make a team no matter what. And I mean, the heat is good for him. He trains in Arizona, so the heat shouldn't have bothered him too much either.
Man.
That was really good back-to-back track and field.
And once again, I mean, I'm looking at this now. Wind 0.0 in the men's 110 hurdle finals. Wind in the negative 0.2. Like, I like this stadium.
I like this stadium. Can we bring USA's out here?
This is Tracktown.
Bring it out to Budapest?
Tracktown USA.
Satellite.
Tracktown Budapest. All right, then
Can we talk about the discus maybe a little bit?
yeah, you guys were sitting among like the Swedish fans, weren't you?
I mean, who's not a Swedish fan? That's the real question.
So set this one up. What exactly took place?
All right, so let me just first
Yeah.
like set the stage a little bit. So Christian Che, I hope I pronounced that.
Yeah, Che.
And Daniel Stahl have been battling back and forth for years now. And in the last, like their lifetime matchup is 17-14 in favor of Stahl. But the thing that I would said, like I gave the betting breakdown of good bets that you could potentially make, and they both had positive odds. And I looked at the history of every competition that they've had, and in their last 25 competitions, one of them ended up winning every single one except one time. So they have a 96% win rate between the two of them. So you knew that the likelihood of one of these two winning was so high. And then in the 6th round, Christian Che comes out, throws a bomb of a 6th throw, breaks 70 meters, is sitting in the lead.
70-02.
And then Daniel Stahl steps into the ring and sends it into orbit. 71.46 meters, championship record. I'm stealing Jasmine's field report.
No,
I'm so excited.
No, that's fine because I honestly, the field events killed it today for their finals. Like, that is how you get out there and freaking compete. Those guys were going head to head, and that didn't just happen over in the discus. That also happened over in the triple jump, which was absolutely bonkers to watch them go. Zango came out in first place. Like, that man put the pressure on those boys in his 5th jump. He went out and jumped, I think it was a 1764-3.
1764, yeah.
1764. And after, it was the most beautiful thing because he points at his head. And that was the check of like, this is a mental game now. I just got in your guys' head because in front of him was the 2 Cubans. So Martinez and Napales, if I'm not mistaken. Chris, do you have the results up?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
Oh, just kidding. I see them in front of me, guys.
Yeah, Christian Napoles.
But Martinez and
Naples,
they were going at it. They were sitting in 1-2, and I thought it was kind of cool for the Cubans to be up there because they were killing the game. I'm a little sad because, U.S. used to be up there like that, but it's okay for the Cubans to be there. And he was like, let me see if y'all can respond. And both of them on their 6th jump ended up with a foul. And I was like, dang, he really got into their heads. Like, that's how you do it. And that's one way that I would love to be out there jumping and be like, hey, y'all got to catch me. It's kind of like when Fred was like, y'all got to sleep on it. Mm-hmm. It was beautiful.
Your heart broken for Hibby?
Yeah, my
Jaden
boy
Hibbert.
Jaden Hibbert
Out.
Did he get to go through the mix zone at all?
He did walk through, but he was like, I got to go take care of this. And he like pointed at his hamstring. So he like attempted the first jump.
Yeah, he went down. He attempted his first jump, and you could tell that he felt something when he was taking off in his first phase, and he didn't finish the jump. He kind of ran through the pit. He walked over to his coach, Travis, and Travis was like, hey, are you okay? And from what I could read from his lips, it seemed like he was saying, I could feel it grab. So hopefully it's nothing more than maybe like cramping up and getting that fixed and situated. It seemed like he was trying to get back out there, but it's also not worth it coming into an Olympic year following.
So young.
He's so young. He's so
18.
talented. So as unfortunate as it is, I'm kind of glad that he went the smart route of let's shut this down.
Spin zone. We just created a monster. He comes out, he wins when he's 18.
Olympics at 19.
Now it came too easy. Now he's gonna go back and he's gonna be like,
he's got to work for it. And I know him watching that competition, there's no way that he was not sad watching how much fun that looked. Like, they were really out there competing, and I know that he wishes he was out there to be able to have that experience and break them up. Like, I think that he would have gone 18.
Just to lend a little bit of context for the people who are watching and listening, but like, what's so special about that jumps group in Arkansas? I mean, Tara Davis Woodhall like is jumping there. Like, you see the photos, like they're all fairly international. Like it's a really good squad. What's happening in Fayetteville?
I mean, I would love to know what's happening. Travis is a mastermind.
What's the last name?
Coach Travis.
That's Travis. Coach Travis is what I call him. Travis, if you listen to this, I'm sorry. I don't know your last name, actually.
I got you.
But it's always been Coach Travis to me. But
Travis Gopher?
Gopher.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah.
I just don't ever call him that. But Travis Gopher, he is a mastermind when it comes to jumps. Like he has Tara Davis. He's got Jaden Hibber. He's got Jerian Lawson. He's got Laquan. He's got a very diverse group at that. So he's got Bahamians. He's got Jamaicans. He's got Americans. The man is just a mastermind. And he is, to me, the top coaches in the world right now are Travis and Nick Peterson.
Yeah.
If you're a kid that's looking to go to school and you're a good jumper, those are the two coaches you should be looking at.
He has this for like the first line of your resume: 5 Olympians, 16 World Championship qualifiers, 13 NCAA individual national champions, 6 different events, 77 individual conference championships, 89 first team NCAA All-Americans. I mean, we could go.
No big deal.
Crazy.
No big deal.
Is that every final?
Today?
Are we going to time to speculate?
We are going to speculate and share our favorites.
All right. Can we talk about the men's 400 hurdles?
Yeah, but just a quick update on the women's side first, because there really weren't any major surprises there.
Women's 400 hurdles?
Yeah, it was just,
It was pretty typical.
fastest time.
Yeah, it was.
Rochelle Clayton won the first heat. Dalila Muhammad was right behind her. Only interesting tidbit, I guess, from the mix zone after that one, Dalila Muhammad says she's at 70%, like has been dealing with injuries. I mean, this is just, 2 consecutive years of bad luck for her coming into a championship where, I tried to, kind of pep her up a bit. That's what us Queens kids do to each other. And I said, but yeah, your 70% is better than a lot of people's 100%. She goes,
100%.
I don't know about that. I was like, no, I know about that. So
Love that.
Yep. Geneve Russell wins the second one. Anna Cockrell was right behind her. So we had 2 heats of Jamaica, USA 1-2. Anna Cockrell, super positive afterwards. She was like, you can do anything. Like, you set your mind to. Like, it was that kind of like positivity. She was like yelling into the camera.
I love Anna.
It was great.
She's always been so positive, though.
Yeah. Oh, and this is like her first World Championship team. So she's competed at Olympics. So Jamaica puts 3 into the final. Adrienne Knight was second in the second heat. Kemi Adoka from Burundi set a national record in the third heat. And then obviously in the fourth heat, everyone's watching Femke Bol. She runs the easiest 53.39
Oh
that
my
you've
gosh.
seen. Didn't only stop to talk in the mix zone to the Dutch media, and then just kept walking, even though I tried waving at her, and I was like, we have the same watch, and no.
Remember you on our show?
Like, I don't even really care.
But no, she's all business, straight to the final. So yeah, women's 400 hurdles. Shamir also great. Gave me a little scare at the end with that final hurdle, but no, she's looking good as well. So I think it's going to be Femke, USA.
Here for it. All right. Moving to the semis, though.
Yeah.
Let's
the
do
men's
it.
400 hurdles. Yesterday, Trevor Bassett comes through the mix zone and he goes, the men's 400 hurdles is the deepest event in track and field. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, a little biased on that one. No. And
Just a little bit.
And then you start breaking it down a little bit. Today, or last year, the fastest time qualifier in the semis was 47.85. This year, 6 guys ran faster than that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, to the point, Trevor Bassett is the World Championship bronze medalist, comes here, posts the 4th fastest time of the semifinals, and it's a personal best.
I mean, golly, he had to running with Warholm.
Yeah. Warholm was just... So, if we go through it, Kyron McMaster wins the first one. Now, I think McMaster is someone that we're totally sleeping on here for that potential bronze medal.
He was on his own out there.
Yeah, McMaster gets forgotten about because ever since the rise of Carson Warholm, it used to be McMaster versus Samba, and Warholm was the young one coming up between them, and then he kind of just blast past everybody, and we forget about those guys because then Rye and Dos Santos come up. But McMaster is looking very, very good. I'm throwing him into the mix for that bronze medal. I think bronze medal is the one that's most up for grabs.
Yeah. Well, so then who are you saying is the potential winners?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be between Carson Warholm and Rai Benjamin.
Yeah, I agree in theory, yes. But Dos Santos actually looked really
Dos Santos
good.
is coming around. Dos Santos is definitely coming around.
He
and
might be a few weeks.
I think it was fun watching
Yeah.
Allison because coming into that first hurdle, he was trying to relax. I don't think he realized that he was a little too relaxed going into that hurdle. And you could see Rai creeping up on him. And I'm sure he heard him coming close to him. And you just saw this gear kind of switch where he was like, oh, shoot, I actually got to move a little bit. So then he gets over the first hurdle, and that's where you kind of see him start to pick up going into the second hurdle. But seeing that gear switch on him, I was like, oh no, he's actually ready to go. So I would not count Allison out.
Yeah, it was so interesting to see Rai and Dos Santos in a
They
semifinal.
could have held hands.
Yeah, but it's also
crossing the
because I was
line.
like, how did this happen? And it's like, oh, Dos Santos was third in the first round, and so it's like that's when you shuffle everything around, and it's like, no, I don't want to see them face off until the final. But Rai looked great. Now, the most interesting thing with Rai is he runs 47.24, wins that heat, and then he takes his time coming down into the mix zone. And one thing that I noticed was that he powered through, but he was like a bit ticked off after watching the Warholm race. Like, it's ignited something in him. There, he was like, he just like, all right, it's time to go. And like, I was a little scared, but I remember we're both from New York, and so like, yeah, us New York kids, like, we get along. But
he's been to Queens.
He's been to Queens. They might recognize him at his local bodega. But I'm expecting the duel to be Warholm versus Benjamin. It's a rematch of Tokyo. It's got everything, all the dramatics you can add to it, with like this being, everyone's talking about the same track as Tokyo. Then I want to see 45.
Yeah. The dude who's going to get third is the one who doesn't try to win between that second group that is not Carson or Rai. Because I think that there's a couple guys who are, maybe Allison's like, hey, like, I think I can win again, and tries to keep up with Carson's crazy first 200 and gets sucked out a little hard. And then maybe, someone like Trevor, who's runs a little bit more conservatively, focusing on trying to get third, can come in and sweep up on that home straightaway. That's how I see it playing out.
Yeah, I keep playing out the scenario in my head that you once teased, where it's sort of like, it was on our preview podcast in the sprints, discussing that how can Rai win this race if he's not the one that's immediately out front? It's the fact that Warholm is going to go after the world record or go after something ludicrous, and then it catches up to him in the final hurdles. And so like,
absolutely.
That's what I like kind of want to see, but as a proud American, but I honestly just want to see a really good race. Warholm didn't really stop in the mix zone, but I asked him sort of like, hey, Carson, what percentage effort was that? And he was like, everyone gets caught up talking. It was like a really trolly answer. Everyone gets caught up in talking about percentages, 90%, 10%. He's like, I don't know. It's all about how you feel. And I was like, and then he just kept walking to talk.
So how did you feel?
Say a number.
Well, then these Norwegians are not stopping for the Americans. It's getting really annoying. And so he then does a Norwegian interview. And then afterwards, they said, Cathal Dennehy asked him, so like, how fast can we expect the final to be? And then he just turns around and says, very fast. And that's it.
Absolutely.
And it's like, you gave us nothing.
He gave no
gave us
answers
nothing.
except for it's going to be fast. And I feel like we all already anticipated that with the lineup of the men that are now in the final.
Yeah. But that's, I guess like that is what it takes to be at the best. You want to hold your cards as
I
close
was
to your
sad
chest.
at his fans. I'm not going to lie.
Why?
Because we were sitting in an area that was surrounded by Norwegians, and I was just hoping that they were going to go absolute bonkers watching Kim run, and they didn't.
They're saving it.
So they better go all out for that man tomorrow if I'm sitting by them again.
All right. Moving on. We had the
Women's 400.
Is that the last thing we have to discuss?
I believe so.
Yeah. Women's 400. Not too many shockers here. Marlady Paulino.
Cruised. Oh my God. She cruised through it.
Yeah. 49.54. Rashidata Delake, 49.87. Cynthia Bolingo with the Belgian national record, 49.96. That was a good first heat. And then in the second one, Lika Klaver, 49.87. Talitha Diggs, 50.86.
She had me terrified.
Why?
I was so terrified. Because as you could see, she started dying about the last 10 meters and the other competitors were running up on her. And I was just like, girl, don't fall as you're starting to lean forward. Just make it through that line because all you have to do is cross that line before somebody else. Just cross that line. But she held it down.
Yeah. And then Natalia Kaczmarek, Seda Williams, they go 1-2 in the third heat. In this one, all the favorites advance and
yeah.
Yep.
No major surprises there. I tried to stop Paulino to talk to her in Spanish.
What was your opener?
Hola.
Un minuto? No.
Oh, nice.
No un minuto. She had no minutos for me. All right. So looking ahead to day 4. What day are we on? We're going into day 4. What are you looking forward to the most tomorrow?
What events are tomorrow? I don't even know what events are tomorrow.
I know.
I
was hoping you would know so that I could.
I
all
was
right.
hoping you knew.
The finals
No.
tomorrow are the men's high jump, the women's discus, the women's 1,500 meters, and the men's 3,000 meter steeplechase. What are you looking forward to?
Hello, my girl Lagi is throwing tomorrow. I am excited for discus.
Yeah, discus is a good one, especially because we got A6's own Valerie Allman going for that gold medal.
I guess I should have led with that one, huh? I'm over here like Lagi, and Val.
If you haven't watched it already on the CITIUS Mag YouTube channel, we've got a nice feature on Val Allman from a quick trip to Texas that Mac Fleet and I took, where we got to witness the practice. I stood in the ring while, not the actual ring, but like within the netting while Val was throwing. And I remembered being like, no one ever stands here during competition.
Imagine if that's how you died.
Literally, what if the disc just...
Well, so the thing was, it was
What?
he died.
That's
He
not
died
safe.
a big throws guy.
We're going to put that on your tombstone.
died
Big
the way he
throws, guys.
He died the way he wanted, a big throws guy.
Without a head on.
But the funniest thing was, it was like I was standing next to her coach, and I was like, he talked about like, oh, she never fouls, and then like never hit the net or anything like that or the cage. And I was like, well, if he's standing here, it's cool if I stand here.
You're like, can I stand behind you?
If someone's head's coming off, you're a little taller. But so no, I think she doesn't have the world championship gold medal. She was bronze last year. I think this is her moment. This is her moment.
Buying that stock.
Foul.
I'm excited for the high jump. I feel like the field events have been getting a ton of attention in this stadium.
Absolutely.
And I think Barshim and Woo are both going to lose to Javon Harrison.
Hey, I'm not mad at that.
I hope
Javon's
you
been
wouldn't
looking
be.
great. Like I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I'm rooting for Javon.
And then, of course, the day you have Faith Kipyegon coming out in the 1,500.
That's gonna be a great race.
Well, yeah,
I don't know about a
time trial.
race.
It'll be a great time trial.
It's like I'm curious to see how fast people run behind Faith,
Yeah.
and like what happens behind her. But the men's steeplechase, I've been getting a lot of texts about this race because it's like, hey, been listening to the pod, just put my mortgage on Germa. And I'm like, I think we need a disclosure on the podcast that like we're not giving actual gambling advice. We're just kind of telling you how we feel about things. But
This is like therapy for us. We're just talking about how we feel. It's not.
Literally,
we're
do
not financial consultants.
Please
No.
do not put your money on what
I'm
you heard
down
here.
right now. Like, don't take my advice. Yeah, I'd have to look back at past years, but I feel like in most schedules, the 1,500 should be the last event. But this year, just the way the fields have, developed, the steeplechase is going to potentially be a crazy battle. It could be a world record.
How far is Morocco from Budapest? Like
Map.
we need the map.
Pull up that map.
No, that one's actually far. I was trying to think like what was the loudest? Was it Sweden today? I think that the loudest that people got.
No, it was Hungary in the pole vault.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
really?
Yeah,
qualifiers,
actually,
they're going
yeah.
wild.
It's these Hungarian track fans are something else.
She made it into the to the final? Did the Hungarian make it?
No, but
no.
that doesn't mean
Man,
they
I
don't
would
still
love
love
to
her.
be a Hungarian.
Real quick, pole
That's what
vault.
I'm saying.
Pole vault happened today too.
Just the qualifier.
Yeah, the
It was just a
qualifiers.
qualifier, but
We have a map on the screen too, so we can figure out.
Zoom in on us.
Zoom in on Budapest, so we know, like, all right, why are they going so nuts around people? But hey, just really quick, shout out to Hana Moll, who the high schooler who qualified, broke the U.S. high school record in the pole vault to advance, and really quiet and shy in the mix zone. But I said I cracked her at the end. I was like, you've got the coolest essay for what did you do this summer? And she laughed and smiled at that. So
Nice.
yeah, so I mean, overall, another fantastic day of track and field. I mean, there's just
I'm going to sleep thinking about Sha'Carri. It's fine.
I don't think I can sleep because of Sha'Carri.
That was so good. I love when something so exciting happens that we have to sprint out of the stadium and get back here as quick as possible.
Yeah,
that's the nuts part. I feel like I didn't really do that I wasn't in as much of a rush yesterday. Sorry, Noah.
yeah.
But today,
No, it was it was exciting, but it was sort of we knew that there was a chance it would happen.
We knew there was a chance for Sha'Carri as well, but just to
for it
see
to happen,
manner in
I
which it
feel like with
happened,
Sha'Carri, because
10:65.
we've been waiting for so long, it's been like a much anticipated. We know you're going to get a medal. We know, but finally it's happened, and it's been a span of 3 years where we've been waiting for her to get this medal.
bronze would have been good.
I would have
Silver
been just
would've
as
been good.
excited with
No,
either,
you
but
would
no,
not
she said,
have.
forget that. I'm going all the way, balls to the wall, give me gold.
Yeah,
Love it.
I want the gold.
Someone
gold at.
I love our YouTube chat because it's been totally interactive all throughout this thing, and sometimes people find stats for us and just
What do we
mention
got?
things. Sha'Carri's run was into a headwind, very tiny headwind.
Yes,
but
0.2.
no one has ever run this fast into a headwind. So
Huh.
Thank
you learned
you,
something
YouTube
new.
chat.
Thank you, YouTube
Shout out to
You
chat.
could just
Guys.
make up any stat, throw it in the
And
chat, and we'll say it out
we'll
loud.
believe that it happened. All right, so thanks to everyone for tuning in. I'm really savoring every sip of this Olipop, our celebratory Olipop, because I only smuggled 6 of these into Budapest.
in Europe, or at least this part of Europe.
Yeah, that have Olipop. I'm just so happy today.
Big thanks to A6
Yep.
for supporting the pod, all CITIUS Mag coverage. Make sure to hop on over to the YouTube channel. Caitlin did not make it back in time, which
She's
means
rushing back right now,
It's
but
doing
understandable,
interviews.
though. I get those interviews. I understand those ones.
maybe. And I just got word that there's a good chance we have some special guests tomorrow. The booking department at CITIUS Mag has been working overtime, scrambling to try and get people. I just got a text. Does 2 o'clock still work for Brittany Brown? And
Ooh.
it'll be a fun one. There's one that I'm still waiting to lock in.
don't announce it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone we wanted on is leaving tomorrow.
Oh, really?
All right, we'll talk
Then
offline.
We'll talk
Yeah.
offline.
It was a
But
little sad.
we're working on it. We're working on getting as many cool guests as possible. But first off, thanks to everyone who has tuned in to any of our shows so far, whether it's CITIUS Mag Live at Worlds, whether it's this Champs Chats post-race podcast that we do every night. We appreciate everyone. If you can just, I see that there's 615 of you. If you can all make sure to subscribe to the channel, that does wonders for us. We want to continue to do as many of these shows. In addition to that, you get tons of interviews from the Mix Zone as well. So lots of good things coming from CITIUS Mag. Be sure to catch all the best of the stuff at CITIUSMag.com. David Melly has been cranking on a daily newsletter. You could subscribe to that also by going to CITIUSMag.com. You've got the lap count
I've
coming out
somehow been
tomorrow.
writing the lap count the last couple days.
Again, we are grinding, and we do it. Why, Kyle? Why do we do it?
Because you get so mad at us if we don't.
There's
He
that.
gets very cranky, you guys.
But then also, it's because I
Love
track.
and
fields.
thanks, everyone.
Terrible.
Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
E6. Sound mind, sound body. 365 days. 1 year until history is made. A lifetime of preparation that will lead us to the ultimate test. 365 days until we show the world what a sound mind and a sound body can do. See you in Paris.
Stability never felt better. The first 5 miles, you're just getting warmed up. From downtown to uptown, you'll take the scenic route. Tired legs? You'll feel fresh. From first steps to final strides. Steep hills, super steep hills. Long runs, even longer runs. Whatever comes, you can run through it.